Sexuality is a spectrum.
It is a wavelength.
Crooked,
kinked,
Twisted.
And moved in all sorts of directions.
It is meant to be explored and understood, comfortable and careful. Fetishes in our society have been depicted as disorders, obsessive, and quite simply, sinful. However, fetishes are so much more than what they are perceived to be. They allow people to express themselves through sexual fantasies, dreams, and more. The only rule in the game of fetishes is consent. When given, the mind and body are free to wander. We want to challenge the dominant narrative around sex practices and open up the discussion on what's considered normal. We now give you our compilations of stories which include
Holly Superstar's memoir, Sex Culture Revolutionary,
Brian Keith's Letter to a GI.
Ruth Westheimer's compilation of sex journals.
lyrics by Adam Schlesinger and Chris Collingwood, and a piece from the screenplay American Pie by Adam Hurst.
and an excerpt from the Vagina Monologues by Eve Ensler.
Join us in our venture of sexuality and get a first-hand look and understanding of what it means to find
Liberation through sexual identity.
Welcome everyone! And thank you for joining us on this tour to the Museum of Contemporary Sex Practices. Throughout modern history, sexual politics and modern expression have been stunted by hetero vanilla gender roles. Let me give you a sneaky peek in these exhibitions of sexual counterculture. Now, let me direct you to our first exhibit from 1943. We'll travel back to World War II in the midst of chaos. A young gentleman writes a letter to his lover, an American GI stationed in North Africa, about his deep yearnings. Attend everyone to your audio guides.
Dave, this is in memory of an anniversary. The anniversary of October 27th, 1943. When I first heard you singing in North Africa. That song brings memories of the happiest times I've ever known. Drinks at Coq d'Or, dinner at the Auberge, and a ring and a promise given. A night of pouring rain and two very soaked GIs beneath a solitary tree on an African plain. Two lieutenants who were smart enough to know the score, but not smart enough to realize that we wanted to be alone. The cold, windy night, we crawled through a window of a GI theater and fell asleep backstage, locked in each other's arms. The shock when we awoke and realized that, miraculously, we hadn't been discovered. The happiness when told we were going home, and the misery when we learned that we would not be going together. Fond goodbyes on a secluded beach beneath the star-studded African night, and the tears that would not be stopped as I stood atop a seawall and watched your convoy disappear over the horizon. We vowed we'd be together again, back home, but fate knew better. You never got there. And so, Dave, I hope that wherever you are, these memories are as precious to you as they are to me. Good night, sleep well, my love. Brian.
Wow, so sweet and so comfortable. I feel the longing and the need for the embrace of these lovers. However, at the time, such homosexual love was forbidden. It's a good thing the times are ever changing. Let's continue. What's behind this corner? Oh, it's a swingers party. We have the plaque of the swingers' 10 Commandments, created and followed by the people in the 1970s. Tune in as these two couples demonstrate the rules which are implemented to teach safe and consensual sex practices.
All right, you guys, the cab's almost here to take us to the swingers party. Now look, I know you guys are both nervous, but just remember that John and I have been doing this for years. And if you have any questions, once we get there, just don't hesitate to speak up.
And bring some Band-Aids in advance.
John, no. You remember your first time, be considerate.
I'm kind of excited. Is that weird? Like, this is something I've always fantasized about, but I never thought I'd actually be getting ready for a swingers party.
Everyone fantasizes about it. Nobody wants to be with the same person for the rest of eternity. Are you kidding?
Seriously, though. And just remember, the best thing to do is explore your sexuality, and do so with someone you love and respect. And as long as you follow the rules of being a successful swinger, you and your partner will be satisfied and more in love than ever.
I love how being a swinger has its own rules. It's like the Ten Commandments of having sex or something.
No, really, we have like 10 commandments. So, number 1, one goes, both go.
It is a team game, not a solo affair.
2,
Punctuality. Turning up late at a party is a turn off. You'd only end up making people who are already in the act feel awkward.
remember that time we turned up 20 minutes late and Mr. Solis had Mrs. Williams like pinned against the door. When we opened the door, they just like were there. Being on time is super important.
3, courtesy.
Be mindful of each other.
4, RSV to invitations.
5, gift for the host.
Hence our gift basket of wine, cheese, and artisan honey.
Number 6, the right attire. Stay comfortable, everyone. Keep your bling, jewelry, and other valuables to a minimum.
7, health and hygiene.
Oral hygiene, people. Deodorant, please use. Thank you.
8, enjoy yourself.
9, the right to say no.
You shouldn't be afraid to decline an invitation. It is the only way to avoid doing something you might regret afterwards.
And 10, friendliness. You may catch a vibe by being nice with others in the community, which can get you invited to more parties.
You guys don't get out often, do you?
Not unless it's a swingers party, no.
Have a stroll?
No, well, there's the cab. Let's head out. Let's go.
The 70s were quite a time. But now, let's turn our attention to our next exhibit. A clip from American Pie, the movie that started the 1990s phenomenon of the myth. Everyone, turn back to your audio guides. Quickly, we wouldn't want to miss anything.
Whoa. That's Stifler's mom? Shit, dude.
Cannot believe a fine woman like that produced a guy like Stifler.
Dude, that shit's a MILF!
What the hell's that?
MILF?
Mom, I'd like to fuck.
Oh, yeah, bro.
Milk!
Hey, Stacy. Can I come over after school? We can hang around by the pool. Did your mom get back from her business trip? Is she there or is she trying to give me the slip? You know, I'm not the little boy that I used to be. I'm all grown up now. Baby, can't you see?
Stacy's mom has got it going on. She's all I want, and I've waited for so long. Stacy, can't you see? You're just not the girl for me. I know it might be wrong, but
I'm in love with Stacy's mom.
Motherfuckers. And what do we have here? Our next exhibit is a clip from the Vagina Monologues, showing the divine appreciation of female pleasure by a woman herself. Ooh, how this one in particular excites me. Listen closely to your audio guides to hear visceral experiences in the early 2000s.
I love vaginas. I love women. I do not see them as separate things. Women pay me to dominate them, to excite them, to make them come. I did not start out like this. No, to the contrary. I started out as a lawyer, but in my late 30s, I became obsessed with making women happy. It began as a mission of sorts, but then I got involved in it. I got very good at it. Kind of brilliant. It was my art. I started getting paid for it. It was as if I had found my calling. It was a kind of surgery, a kind of delicate science, finding the tempo, the exact location or home of the moan. There's the clit moan, the vaginal moan, there's the almost moan, the elegant moan, the mountaintop moan, the doggy moan, the uninhibited militant bisexual moan,
Yes, fuck!
the tortured zen moan, the college moan,
I should be studying.
and finally, the surprise triple orgasm moan. Yes, Right there. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, yes, this is also sexiest. There's so many juicy crevices of this museum that we don't have time to dabble in. But what excites me most is our current socioclimate. For our last exhibit, and to cultivate further exploration, let's go on a sexual safari through our own beautiful city. Here is a first experience at the Folsom Street Fair, San Francisco's very own fetish festival showcasing erotic artists, public playstations, and kinky performances. As we got closer to Folsom Street, the population around us began to change. The front of the cab, two men with bushy beards dressed in leather harnesses, big boots, walked comfortably across the street holding hands. A gaggle of drag queens tottered by in high heels, feather boas flying. By the time we turned the corner to be dropped off, the streets jostled with thousands of colorful, sexy, outrageously dressed people. I'd seen crowds like this before in the fetish clubs of London, but this was outside in broad daylight and it went on for miles. There were spanking stations set up with people strung up on medieval-looking bondage devices, pink asses exposed in the warm sun, a tall, naked, muscular man with a dark tan and an enormous cock was masturbating on the sidewalk with an audience of people cheering him on and taking photographs. An hour later, I skipped down the street, sweating in my latex dress, beaming a genuinely happy smile for the first time and as long as I could remember. People were so friendly and supportive. I met the buyer from a local fetish shop, and a man who wanted me to throw his party in his bar. I reeled from all the opportunities, engaging conversations, and a sense of community I'd never experienced before. My love affair with San Francisco had begun. Thank you for coming to the Museum of Contemporary Sex Practices. I hope we've tickled your fancies and fantasies.